What's happening, guys? Edgy Outdoors here, coming to you with a new knife review on this Halloween of 2016. Wanted to give you guys a quick, this is a new knife to 2016, I believe, from Zero Tolerance. This is the Zero Tolerance 0220, the 0220. Really cool little knife. I've had this thing for a few months, carried it several times, off and on. When you've got as many knives as I do, you tend to gravitate towards certain knives, and this happens to be one of them that I like to carry, and people seem to really be drawn to when I take it out. This is a Jens Anzo collaboration. This is a titanium scale knife. It is stonewash blade finish. Really super nice knife from Zero Tolerance. It's not necessarily one of the overbuilt knives, but it is, a Zero Tolerance knife that's built to be somewhat rugged. It is run on ball bearings in the inside. The blade steel is S35VN, as we see here. See if we can get that bad boy to focus. Come on, baby. There we go. The Anzo design S35VN. One of my favorite steels, actually. You can see there is a nice sharp edge on that. I hope I didn't just cut myself, to be honest, but that edge is polished up and looks super pretty. Hopefully that comes across on the camera. Some other key features of this, if we look at the back spacer, it's orange. They have a interesting little blue badge that's sitting here which says ZT. Kind of mixed reviews on this. I actually bought this from somebody that doesn't like all that additional jewelry on their knives, and that is okay with me. It's my benefit. Now I get to have this knife. So this knife is really nice in hand. When we start looking at the weight, let's see if I can find my scale here somewhere. The weight is not outrageous. Here it is. Weight is not outrageous on this bad boy. They claim the weight is 6.24 ounces. It does not feel that 6.24 ounces for what you get. It's 6.1. So it is something that, I don't carry this knife if I'm in my board shorts or, my athletic shorts, but it's a knife that I'll carry in jeans or even slacks because it does have that gentleman titanium feel to it, which I like. If we do a size comparison just overall on this knife, we can compare it to, let's say, the Griptilian, full-size Griptilian from Benchmade. See, very similar in size to that guy. Or we can put it in there next to the infamous, Paramilitary 2. You can kind of get an idea of the size difference between these knives, or the similarities. Anyway, just some of the quick dimensions on this guy. Overall length 8.37 inches. Blade length is 3.5 inches. So blade length is 3.5 inches. It's that drop point blade. I actually really like this blade. It's got a nice belly for the cut. For slicing. It is a completely flat ground blade with just a little bit of a spine up here that's unground. But it's stonewash across the whole blade. Really nice. Titanium handles. It is set up for tip-up carry, right or left-handed. So tip-up carry. If we look at the pocket clip, we can zoom in on the pocket clip and we can see it is somewhat deep carry, which is kind of nice for those of you that like to use your pocket clips or have to use your pocket clips. It's a pretty deep carry knife that we've got. So love the knife, carry it all the time, use it all the time. It is a frame lock from ZT, so you can see that this, the lockup on this particular knife, if I can get that to zoom in on it, is actually fairly shallow. We're probably 40% maybe. Hard to see here. Let's see if we can get that. There we go. It's about 40% lockup. Super nice lockup. It is rock solid, no wiggle. When you hold this guy in hand, I mean, it takes up your hand. and it feels solid. It feels like you've got a nice knife in your hands. It feels good. It feels very ergonomic. There's no hot spots on it anywhere. You can see this thing, S35VN, takes just a razor sharp edge on it. Now let's talk about, you know, the good we kind of talked about. Let's talk about some of the things that, you know, I don't care as much for. We'll go to the good things real quick. I love the pops of color that ZT is putting in on their blades right now. I do think that adds some character. One of the bad things is, outside of the orange backspacer and the blue badge, there's not a whole lot to this knife that says character, or, you know, other than just having a very polished, very clean, well put together feel. It doesn't have a, you know, like the 801 that has, you know, nice lines to it, or, you know, some of the other ones that have, you know, say the 900. If we look at that as titanium, that has a little bit of sculpted, you know, pieces to it, whether it be on the blade or on the handle. You know, it is very more gentlemanly in that case. Now, that's really all I can say on the bad, other than the price. You know, the price is pretty high, I think, for what you're getting here, considering it is S35VN steel with a titanium handle. You know, the price, if you look at Blade HQ, is almost $230, $228. I got this one actually from a friend who, you know, I got it for about $175, but, you know, in the end, a $200 knife, I could see it is right in there in that $200 knife. Once you start getting over $200 for this knife, I might say it's a little bit much, so you might look at the open secondhand market on it, see if you find something that you like. But it is a solid, well-built knife, built for that. Now, I also feel, as far as the use case on this guy, this really is an EDC style blade. This is going to cut your apples and your onions, and this is going to cut, you know, nice when you take camping, if you just need a little camper, you know, knife at camp. Nice in the office, right, because it does have kind of a not very intimidating blade shape, although it is quite large. It's not super intimidating. The flipper action on it, you know, is great when you're sitting watching Monday Night Football like I'm about to do, to have a flipper action. So everyday carry is certainly what I would consider this knife to be. Everyday carry that you're wearing, you know, some clothing that can handle the weight of this particular knife. You know, if I needed something similar size that I was going to be wearing sport shorts, I'd probably look at something more like the Manix 2 lightweight, right? I don't get quite the same amount of cutting edge or cutting area, but I'm saving about 3 ounces with this over that. It's about half the weight. So I would say that, you know, you probably are not going to carry, you know, the big 220 when you need a lighter knife, but gentleman's folder, definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. That being said, that's kind of it with this guy. I highly recommend this knife. I think this is a great knife if you're looking for a good EDC blade, a good higher end EDC blade. If you like titanium, I have seen some people do some things with the titanium that make it look pretty cool. You know, I've seen some different backspacers in here. I've seen, you know, the hardware, you know, as a way just to add color, of taking these, you know, this hardware and turning it into an anodized, you know, titanium hardware from people like Troy on Instagram, which I've mentioned before. So certainly a good knife, certainly a high, you know, a higher end EDC, but being new to 2016, I think it's definitely a cool addition to add to your collection if you've got one. It's something you can implement from time to time when you want a little bit bigger knife to carry with you, and you want something that, you know, feels strong and sturdy in your hand, and really is going to be a heavier use blade for sure. Thanks guys, I appreciate it. As always, please leave comments down below. I like to hear back from you guys. Give me a thumbs up, and also make sure we're trying to get this, you know, channel off the ground. Trying to find knives that people are looking at, and, you know, if you have a recommendation on a knife you'd like to see, I may have it. I've got hundreds of knives in my collection. Buy knives every week, don't tell the wife, but you know, we buy and trade knives all the time, so we can get these knives in. If there's a knife you'd like to see a review on, put that down below, hit that subscribe button. Please always stay safe and have a really good holiday season. Thanks, guys.